Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. I know it's been an absolute age since I made one of these, but I am back, and today we are going to be playing with some stamps from Globeland. They kindly sent me these 4 stamps, which will be listed in the description below if you want to go and check them out. Now, I've been a long time user and buyer of Globeland stamps, and I was not aware that they had a direct website, so I used to buy them all on Amazon. After receiving this package, I went onto their website and I've placed a rather big order, so be prepared to see many videos using Globeland stamps in the near future. Now, these are the 4 sets that they sent to me. I actually gave them a list of all the ones I liked and let them choose at random, so it would be a little surprise for me. And these are the rather lovely stamps that they sent me. So today I'm going to give you like a short review as I open them up, and we're going to play with them a little bit and see what I can make kind of on the spot, seeing as these are the first time I've ever laid eyes on them. Now, all Globeland stamps come in similar packaging. They're inside this cellophane that you have to remove, and then the stamps are sandwiched between 2 acetate layers, which keeps them clean and is a good way to store your sets. Now, these are ATC stamps, and ATC is an artist trading card, something I sometimes make, so this is why this was on my list. And basically you stamp these little ATC stamps on the back of a little tiny artwork, something like this is a card. I could stamp it inside it if I wanted to send that to somebody in a trade, or you could make a little artwork on a piece of card this size and stamp it on the back, and then you fill out your name, when it was created, and artists actually swap little tiny pieces of artwork. That's what ATC is. So I got this because I am actually in an ATC challenge every so often, and decided that I needed one of these stamp sets because look at them, how could I not want them? But today I'm going to be using them not just as an ATC stamp set. I'm going to try and use one of the stamps in another way to see if I can get more versatility from them. Now, with silicone stamps, I know a lot of people suggest that you sand the surface to get them ready for the first time you stamp, but I'm going to show you that I have never had to do this with Globeland stamps. I literally open the packet, stick them straight to an acrylic block without doing absolutely anything at all. Don't clean them, nothing. Stamp, stamp, stamp onto your ink and straight onto paper. Now, many people swear that sanding the surface of your silicone stamps mean you get a good impression the very first time, and it kind of takes the shine off the silicone. But as you will see here, I get a pretty good impression without doing that, and that's one of the things that I like about these stamps. I've bought so many Globeland stamps and I've never had to pre-buff the surface of the stamps. And if you actually look on the back of the packet, you'll see it when I turn this one over. It has no mention of buffing and prepping your silicone. It is basically peel, stick to acrylic block and stamp. So I feel like that is not a necessary step with these stamps. Now, overall, because I can with authority review Globeland stamps, I've been using them for a long time. These are really good quality. I've always found them to be very precise with their detail, very durable, very good quality stamps. I love the amount of designs and variations that the Globeland website has. I have maybe 20 different stamp sets from the Globeland collections, and I'm now glad that I found their website and realised that they have hundreds more. And yes, I did order at least another dozen stamps after receiving this package. Okay, so today we're going to just play around. I've decided to make a little sort of ATC inspired card, but right now I'm just having fun playing with the stamps to see what kind of effect they give. Something I like to do when I get a new stamp set, I just like to pull them out, try them with different inks, just see how they stamp, find my favourites. I'm sure you all do the exact same thing as me, and as I said, these are expected quality stamps because I've used many of their make before, so I knew I was getting something that was going to be good quality. And these were designs that I do not yet have, so I'm going to try some making and just creating just on the spot using these stamp sets. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to be making here. I'm just going to pull out some inks, pull out some stamps, and hopefully at the end of it I have a card that is worthy of going in one of my junk journals. Now, I'm using my little buffing pad here, and I think that's the vintage photo distress oxide, sorry, and I'm just grubbying the edges, and my little trick of going in circles to the middle so that you kind of graduate that grubbiness down to a matching card colour, if that makes sense. And everything you see in my videos, stamps aside, obviously they have their own links in the description. You'll find a link to my Amazon storefront below, and absolutely everything that I've bought on Amazon will be below. Now today I'm going to show you a little trick. I keep this really old ruler, which is kind of past it, for making lines and grids. Now it's not showing up well on camera, but it was actually a lot darker in the flesh. And this is a good way to make your own little notebooks or bingo cards or anything you want a lined repeat pattern on. You just need an old metal ruler with nice clean edge. The cork has actually came off the back of this ruler along all the edges, so I've got basically just a nice clean piece of metal that I can use to stamp. And I kind of like the fact it's a little bit warped and a little bit bent, because sometimes if I want a less precise set of lines, I use further along the ruler, but that bit I used was pretty straight. So as you can see, I've just used an ink pad and my ruler to create these lines, and then I'm switching to red. I wiped off my ruler on a baby wipe, and there I'm putting the little margin as if it was a notebook, and look at that. That's a pretty convincing piece of notepaper if you ask me. Okay, so that is the base of this little card. Let me see, what do we have here? Ooh, that's a pretty nice stamp. I think I'm going to have a little look through these stamps and see what I can pull out and play with and turn this little note card tab top. I just randomly picked something that was on my desk to stamp on, and this just happened to be it. Now these stamps here, I didn't actually put in the list for myself. I actually picked these stamps for my son because he's very much into steampunk and gears and vintage cars, and that stamp set was perfect for him. So now that this stamp set came, and after I play with it, he will be the one to make the most use of this stamp set. But there are a couple on there I might just steal and keep and then pass it on. Now this one I've picked doesn't have any gears or cars on it, so I'm just sticking that down the bottom. I don't know if you can see a clear impression there. Please ignore any noise in my background. My craft room office / work area is right next to my kitchen, and my washing machine is currently going because, you know, I am a busy mom who also works, and sadly the washing cannot wait. Okay, so I'm also picking this other little stamp from the ATC set. This was just a number, and you know, we love a good number when you're making something vintage, especially something note related or tab top related. So I'm sticking that at the top. I think that looks kind of cute. I'm totally winging this, by the way. I have no idea what I'm making. I've got no vision, nothing. I'm just picking random stamps and hoping that the end product is going to be something I can stick in a journal, because, you know, I hate making waste. The whole point of junk journaling is to save waste and turn it into something, not make waste that needs to be trashed. So that was another little number stamp from the ATC set. I didn't realise when I was first looking at the ATC set how many little random numbers and things were at the bottom, and frames that you could use on absolutely anything. Now that original ATC stamp that I used, we're going to use that on this card, but we're going to be sly about it and just use the border and try to keep the actual words that make it an identifiable ATC stamp out of it, just as an extra way to get more use out of these stamps, because there's a really pretty border. So just by keeping the edge that doesn't have anything really obvious, the ATC details, I'm sticking on the card. And I feel like that just makes such a little pretty addition to the edge, a little bit of extra detail. Okay, now that we've got quite a lot of dark brown stamped on there, I feel like I want to grub it up a little bit more. So I'm taking one of these texture stamps. Now there are so many really cool stamps on that set that I actually can't wait to try all of them. And I found with texture stamps it's actually better to do what I'm doing here, which is not use an acrylic block. Just pick up your stamp and dab absolutely everywhere. And it was funny because afterwards I realised that my fingerprint shapes are actually on the card because of where I was pressing down my fingers. It was actually 3 fingerprints rather than like a nice block of texture. Just a little funny detail that I noticed afterwards. Now I really love these cats and moons and things, and I want to do a project solely with them, so I'll be doing that in a future video. But for this one I wanted some red to kind of offset the red number at the top, and I figured what goes nicer in dark red than a toadstool. I mean, I'm all about the toadstools. So of course I was going to pick a toadstool to put on this card, and as you can see, none of these stamps are getting any preparation. They're coming straight out of the packet and going straight to ink, to paper, and they're printing perfectly on the first attempt. And these aren't even particularly juicy ink pads. Some of these ink pads are pretty well used and probably could use with a refill. I do think I need to invest in more colours though. I've come to the end of the road with my limited colour selection, and I should probably invest in some more. Okay, so I'm going to grubby up the edges, and my card, which I didn't know what I was making to begin with, is actually looking pretty cool here. I feel like this would really suit the journal that I'm working on right now, which is a cottagecore, sort of grungy, woodlandy, toadstool themed journal. And it's all like reds and browns and greens, and this works pretty well for in there, so it's probably going to get inserted into that journal, which makes me happy because it's not a waste item from playing with stamps. It's something usable. And I realised that I actually want more lines on here than I kind of made them a bit spaced out, so I'm just going to half the lines that I did, but I'm not going to stamp all the way across the whole card again. I'm just filling in the parts that no other stamping was on top of, and just making them much closer together little lines, giving myself a little writing spot if this goes in a journal, so I can fit way more words onto this little card. Now it did make some a little wonky, but wonky makes it more beautiful in my eyes, and perfection is the perfection for me. I learned to be that way because I realised I cannot do a straight line to save my life, and nothing is ever lined up, so you know, appreciate the weirdness because that's what makes it perfect. Now while I've got those ATC stamps out, I decided I was going to stamp onto some of these cards and realised I didn't leave myself one on this tag, and this one I could stamp on the inside. Now as I said before, if you don't know what ATC is, it's an artist trading card, but in my little creative language it means anything small that you could trade with somebody becomes an ATC, even though it's strictly not what they are. And I'm going to stamp this one particularly and keep it aside for the next time I have to trade in one of the challenges in the future. Now if you are part of my group on Facebook, you'll know we do a craft challenge every month, but you're probably unaware that we also sometimes collaborate in an ATC craft challenge with Jack Be Nimble. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, leave me a comment below and I will give you links to either the Facebook group or the challenges so that you can come and join in whenever you see fit. Sometimes it's really fun to come out of our comfort zone using colours and palettes that we wouldn't normally use, or getting involved in the ATC challenge and just, you know, trading cards with other people that join in. Now as you can see, it lets you put in your name, a date and something else. I can't read it while I'm editing, I should have read it at the time. But they're very handy and they just look so much more profesh if you put them on the back of your little ATC cards than just a little handwritten note. Now I decided the back of my little note card here deserved some grungy-ing, and I'm going a little bit heavy with the vintage photo there. I don't know, the first time was nice and light, that time I think I just got a little bit gun-ho. I'm grubbying it up to match the front, and somehow black has got in there. I wasn't even using black, I have no idea, that just happens. It's kind of a clean your mat liane, and that probably wouldn't happen. As you can see, once again, fingerprint shapes. I just find that really amusing. I don't know why that I've looked my fingerprint shapes look. I've just noticed and I'm like, what the heck? That's funny. I know, it's the weirdest things amuse me. Anyway, I decided I was going to stick my ATC thing on the back of this journal card. So maybe it'll go in a journal, maybe I'll trade it off to someone, who knows, just depends on my mood. But using just the stamps on my desk and having a play around with these Globeland stamps, I've managed to create something pretty cute that I'm actually kind of proud of, even though I had zero plans for what this was to be. And look at it, it's fabulous. I like it. I might not give it away, I might just keep it, stick it in my journal, because why not? So these were the Globeland stamps, and I mean, as I can already testify, quality is good because I've used them for absolutely forever. I really love the little selection they sent me, and I'm going to be making proper videos with these stamps for the next couple of weeks. You know, maybe just one set per design or something. And I hope you enjoyed this little card. Tell me what you think. Are you a user of Globeland stamps? And if not, you should be. Go and check the links down below.